name is Bernadette Gerszewski1. Bernadette is my legal name. Teresa is my baptismal name. I took the name Anne in confirmation. I am the 11th child of Mary Ann Stefanowitz and Aloysius Paul Gerszewski. I was born at 707 North 6th Street, Grand Forks, North Dakota, as were most of my brothers and sisters, all except the 3 oldest, who were born at the home farm near Ardagh. I was born March 8, 1924. In those days, most babies were born at home. Very few were born at the hospital. I believe this is the first picture taken of me. I was maybe under 2 years old. I'm sure my mother made this outfit I have on as she made most of our clothes, both boys and girls. She had an old Singer treadle sewing machine and also did much of the work by hand, both mending and darning socks. I don't think she ever rested much during the day. If you saw her sitting in a chair, she usually had a needle and thread in hand, sewing or repairing some garment. I went to St. Michael's School for 8 years, graduated from Central High School in Grand Forks. I'll skip that part. I graduated from Union Commercial Business College. I went there for 7 months. At that time, there were no semesters or regular time to go. When Mr. Thacker thought you were ready, he got you a job and you were on your own. He got me a job at the Lions Auto Garage, and I didn't like it there. It was too dirty, and I couldn't keep myself or my clothes clean. Father Matt got me a job at the Public Health Department at the university, and I worked there for 8 months until I was old enough to go into the service. When the Second War broke out, I was not old enough to join up. Girls had to be 20 years old. So when I turned 20 in March 1944, I signed up for the Navy Ways and was called up in April. I spent boot training in New York. From there I went to Stillwater, Oklahoma for 3 months, yeoman training. And from there I went to the Naval Supply Depot in Oakland, California. I worked with a group of Seabees for a short time, was transferred to the communications office where all the telegraph communications came in. We were the main supply depot in the area, and our base supplied the ships and shore stations in the Pacific. When the war was over, I worked in the personnel office working on service records and discharge papers. And
That's it?
Yeah, I was going.
You see a red dot in the front there, the camera is recording.
Okay, you saw one of my first pictures ever taken. This is one of my later ones. I was maybe in my 60s when this one was taken. So we'll just pass on to the next picture. All right, this is a picture of me when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. And you see the short haircut. Well, our dad used to cut our hair, and our sister Connie took over the job, but for some reason, neither one of them were available. When I was in the second grade, my mother sent us to the neighbor who cut hair. She sent Jean and I both over there to get our hair cut, and he thought we were twin boys. So he gave us both the same kind of haircut, and I was fit to be tied. I cried, and I didn't want to go to school. But of course I had to go to school, and I thought everybody was going to tease me. And nobody did, so then I thought the haircut was fine because I liked to go swimming all the time, and it was short hair was just great for that. So I kind of liked it after that. Okay, I'd like to explain about this swimming trophy. It was, well, I won it the first year, and it constituted 3 swimming meets every summer, and the person that got the most points for swimming and diving would get the trophy, but then you had to win it 3 years in a row to keep it. And I lost it the second year, and then I won it again 3 years in a row, so I still have the trophy. And,
Okay, let's go.
all right, this is a picture that was taken by the park board, and I knew a lady that worked over there, and she found it in their file someplace, so she gave it to me. And I had never even seen it before, that she gave it to me. So I was happy to get it. It's the only diving picture I have of myself. And I'm glad to have it and keep it. Okay. Okay.
Go.
Okay, I just wanted to say a little bit about how I learned to swim. My 2 sisters, Helen and Connie, when I was 5 or 6 years old, they took me to the swimming pool because my mother made them do it. And then they would take me and leave me in the baby end, the shallow end, and then they would go off with their friends and do their thing. So anyway, I would get into the water. It would almost take my breath away because it was right up to my chin. But I held on to the edge of the pool, and then I kept backing away a little farther and a little farther until I was actually dog paddling. And I dog paddled for I don't know how long. But then I watched the older guys, how they swam, and I learned by watching them. And I learned a lot from Doug Lenore. I thought he was always a good swimmer and diver. So anyway, I maybe started getting into the competition when I was about 12 years old. So anyway, I just learned to swim by myself. Okay, one thing I would like to say about our mother, that she seldom ever went anywhere except to church, the grocery store, or uptown to get something she needed for sewing, something that she was making. What I do remember is how empty the house seemed to be when she was not there, so cold and lonely, and something was just not right in my world. Another thing I remember, how well informed she was about world affairs and what was going on in the city. For someone who seldom left the house, I think she was a very intelligent person. She was the one who disciplined me. If I needed a paddling, she gave it to me. And I took it because I knew I had it coming. She was not a mean or a nasty disciplinarian, but well-timed and reasonable. I only remember our father smacking me one time. Some of us kids were horsing around. She had it there. horsing around his chair where he was trying to relax after a hard day's work and read the newspaper.
Did you want to move?
Yeah.
Let's move in a little on this. Frame okay?
Yeah. He was trying to relax and read his paper. And he told us kids to quit horsing around, and of course we didn't do it. Well, anyway, when I went by him, he reached out and smacked me with the newspaper. Of course, it didn't hurt, but my feelings were hurt, and I never bugged him again when he was trying to relax. Our mother did not nag and scold. She had a way of stating her case, and you got the point. She used very few words, but she got her point across. I had a great deal of love and respect for our mother. Okay. This is our mother and father and oldest sister, Genevieve. She had rheumatic fever as a kid and was left with a bad heart and died at the age of 44. She spent most of her life working as a housekeeper for priests. And, she was always good to me. Okay, why don't you just show her the other two?
The one below it?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, this is our mother and Jen and I think I was about 15 years old at this time. And Jen mostly worked out of town. We didn't see her very often, but we were always glad to see her come home. And a couple of things I remember about her, she was a very good baker. And she did some beautiful needlework. Okay, that's good. Okay, this picture was taken when I was in Oklahoma at the A&M College in yeoman school. And you just keep going. And these shoes and socks, they were kind of a joke with us. We even had a song about them. We call them our GI shoes. But these are what they called our work uniforms. And they were a gray, seersucker gray. The shoes were black. And you can see we're carrying our books like little old girls. And that's me, the second from the end. Okay. And this sequence was all taken at yeoman school. I was just sitting on a bridge that crossed over a little creek. Okay. And this is a shot of our mess hall, where we ate our 3 meals a day, and we got good food down there. But one thing we never got was potatoes. We got hominy instead of potatoes. But otherwise the food was good. But I missed the potatoes and gravy. Okay. And this is what our recreation uniforms, if you want to call them, they were government issue. This is what we played our sports in. And we did have a softball team. Each platoon had their own softball team. And I was the captain and the coach of our team, and we never lost a game all summer. And then they picked the all-star team to play the college all-stars, and this was fast pitch softball. And even though it was the best game I ever played, we got beat 2-0. But it was a good game, and we all played hard and tried to win. Okay.
Oh.
That's good. Well, this was one of my buddies. Don't ask me how we got out on that rock. I don't remember. Out in the middle of the water. I suppose we jumped out there, but I'm not sure. Her name was Dorothy Green, and she was from New York. Okay. And this is just a group of us sitting out in the grass relaxing. That's me on the far side there. That's just a little more relaxation. We had to work pretty hard, but we did get our chance to relax. And they have a good swimming pool in that town. And I remember how hot it was. Even in the swimming pool, you could just see the sweat oozing out of your body. Oh.
Uh, oh.
And this is a picture of our whole platoon. And I'm in the second row up, the last one on the right. And I wish I could remember all those gals' names, but I can't. But they were a good bunch of gals. Okay. And down here, this is the communications office that I worked in Oakland, California. And you can see the teletype machines back there. And we took orders from all the ships and bases all over the Pacific. And we supplied all their needs. Guns, ammunition, food, clothes, whatever. Okay. And this girl sitting at that front desk, she was my roommate. And she's sitting at my desk. That's where I worked at. But I was working nights when they took that picture, so, and her desk was right in front of mine. So there was, maybe 8 of us working in the department that I was working in. All those other people in the back were teletype operators, or what do you call them, telegraph. Okay. Okay, I met Mort while I was in business college, and he was driving the horse-drawn milk wagon for the Minnesota Dairy. Shortly after we met, he was called to the Navy, and I joined a few months later when I was old enough. We did get to see each other once for a couple of hours in New York while he was stationed at New London, Connecticut. It was for a very short time, but at least we did get to see somebody from home and talk a while. And I didn't see him again until the war was over. And I was at the Naval Supply Depot in Oakland, and he was sent home to San Diego when he returned from his tour in the Pacific. We were married in Oakland September 17, 1945. Helen and a friend of hers, Ed Jacobs, who was a lieutenant in the Navy, stood up for us. We did get a couple of weeks to come home before reporting back to our separate bases. Girls signed up for the duration of the war plus 6 months. But if you got married, you could get out a little sooner. I was discharged in December 1945. Mort was discharged a few months later. We came back to Grand Forks to live and stayed with his folks till we found a place of our own. Okay. Okay, this is our wedding picture, and it was taken out in California. And we were married for a year and a half before our first child was born. It was Marlene Ann. And we'll show you some pictures of her and her family. Okay, in this picture, we have my oldest daughter, Marlene Ann, and she was born on March 6, 1947, 2 days before my 23rd birthday. And Marlene has a son and a daughter. Ronald Terry Johnson has, oh my dear, why don't you move it over? This is Marlene's son, Ronald Terry Johnson, and he has a son, Jacob. Jacob is 6 years old now and has spina bifida. Things are physically difficult for him, but he has a quick mind and a lovable disposition. Look down.
What's going on here?
And this is Marlene's daughter, Karen, and her husband, Brian, and their 3 children, Lindsay, Kaylee, and I better say the right one, Josh, his name is, and let's see, I should have said more about Ron. Ron is in the Navy. I'll go back to him for a minute, and is making a career of it and doing well. And Karen is a supervisor for New Flyers bus company. They put commercial buses together, and Ron plans to stay in the Navy until his 20 years, I believe, is up. I don't know how many he has to go, but he likes it in there. And he does different jobs. Some things he does is fly cargo overseas, to sometimes into the kind of hot, touchy areas over there. But he seems to like it, and Karen likes her job, and she's been a supervisor for quite a few years over there, and she does a good job of it. Okay. And No, oh yeah, get those guys in there. And this is Ron with his little son, Jacob. He's very inquisitive. He likes to know about everything. And like I say, he does have a quick mind. And some kids with that problem would be whining and crying and acting like a baby, but he doesn't do that. He gets around the best he can, which isn't all that good, but he tries. Okay.
Off?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And this is Marlene and her husband, Gary. And Marlene works for Associated Potato Growers, where Kathy and I both worked there for a while. And Marlene she's got arthritis quite bad in her hands, and she's going to have surgery very soon. And Gary he's got a handicap. He is on disability. He can't work. He has a hard time walking, but he does get around, and we hope Marlene's surgery goes fine for her. Okay, this is Wayne Allen, our oldest son. He was born November 6, 1949. He married Patty Teigland, and they have 2 girls and 2 boys, Michelle, Nicole, Matthew, and Derek. Nicole has 1 son named Cameron. And Wayne is a foreman for Innes Construction. He has been with them since he was discharged from the Navy when he was in his early 20s. And he's very good at what he does. He's a cement finisher among things. That's just one of his jobs. But he's supposed to be keeping the other guys in line, but if they don't keep in line, then he's got to do his stuff. You know how that goes. Okay, you can go here. This is a group of fellows, I don't know what you call it, that he was in the Navy with. And he's the second one from the end on the right. And, I think he was in a school of some kind. What does it say on there? Service School Command. Electricians. Class A.
Right.
But anyway, he was elected by his men to be the leader of his group, which was good. Okay, you can go to that.
Middle?
Yeah. And this is Wayne and his wife, Patty. And next to Patty is Michelle, their oldest daughter. Next to Wayne is Matthew, their oldest son. And next to him is Nicole with her son, Cameron. And the guy on the end is Derek. And he's about 16 right now, I think, 15, 16. Oh, okay, let me do that.
Upper left?
Yeah. And this is another family picture. The guy to the right of Wayne is Michelle's husband. They got married about a year ago. And little Cameron with his baby little face. Okay. And this is Matthew. He was very active in junior high and high school sports. He played basketball and football and track. He was very active in all three of those sports, and he did very well at all of them. And he's also a 4.0 student. He has been all through school. He graduated last year, and he's already got 1 year at UND. He doesn't know for sure what he wants to do, but I'm sure whatever it is, he'll do a good job at it. Okay, this is Wayne's 4 children, Michelle, Matthew, Nicole, and Derek. I think they were a little bit younger at that time. But there they are, all 4 of them. Okay. Okay, this is Gail's, my 3rd child.
Oh. Stop.
Okay. And this is Tony, Gail's oldest son, who just got married last July to Kim. And this is the wedding party. And they say I was responsible for all those people, so they put me in the middle there. I don't claim responsibility for all of them, but a good part of them. But it was a nice wedding, and Tony and Kim are, they're both on the police force, and she is in the National Guard Air Corps, and he's in the regular National Guard. And they seem to be very happy together. Okay, this is Gail's 5 children. Tony on the left, Michael on the right, Angela on the left. What's her name?
April?
April in the middle, and Tony Marie is on the right, and she lives in Evansville, Indiana. And this is Gail with her 3 daughters, April, Angela, and Tony. Marie. This is Tony and Kim, the ones that just got married and are on the police force. And this is a picture of Tony and Kim taken at their wedding last summer. And these 3 boys belong to Tony Marie, Dalton, Cody, and Weston. And they all like to play baseball, as you can see. And Tony Marie is their mother. And this is April, Gail's youngest child. She works at we used to call it St. Luke's Hospital. It's Merit Care now in Fargo. She worked in that office there. And this was her youngest little girl, Cassie. And this is her other 2 children, Christopher and Carmen. named after Carmen. And this is Tony's daughter, Kaylee, the writer. And this is Angela and her husband Jeff and her son Jeff, and the blonde one there, and her daughter Jessica, Katie, and Andrew. And they live in Cummings, North Dakota. Okay. And this is another picture of Cassie, April's daughter. Yeah, you already did this a little ago.
You did this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, either way. And this is April's youngest son, Michael. He was in the Army for a short while, but he's home again now. And this is Tony. He was in the regular Army also, and when he got out, he got into the National Guard. He also went to the university, and he's also on the police force. And here's Gail. She's responsible for all those people. I gotta blame her now.
Go.
Okay, and this is a picture of my 6 children. Wayne at the top, Tom in the middle, Tim on the other side, and Gail on this side, Kathy in the middle, and Marlene on the right. And they had this picture made for me for Christmas a couple of years ago. And they all got their happy smiling faces. Okay, think Tom up there. And this is Tom's graduation picture. He was mostly into wrestling when he was in high school, and he did pretty well. He liked it. Kind of scared me when he was wrestling. They made him lose so much weight. You know, the kids would stand around and spit and do everything to knock off an ounce or two. And he weighed about 119 pounds at the time. Right now, I don't know what he weighs, but it's a lot more. But he is a machinist and a mechanic, and I forget the name of the company he's working for right now because he hasn't been there very long. This is his youngest daughter, Jacqueline. They call her Jackie. And she's active in both baseball and basketball, and she does very well. She's very dedicated. And she's a good scholar also. And I think she is a junior this year. Okay. Thank you. This is Tom's other daughter, Becky, who just graduated this spring. And Carmen, she works at Walmart.
I did.
And she just started.
Well, I'm not so mad at Walmart as I used to be.
She just started working over there as a checker. She's going to school in the fall to AVTI, which is a vocational school, to be an X-ray tech or something in that field. Okay. Oh. All right, this is my youngest daughter, Catherine Marie. She was born April 15, 1962. And Kathy is a respiratory therapist for Care Hospital in Fargo. which used to be St. Luke's. Kathy has two girls, Sarah Ann and Jennifer, both who have graduated from high school and are looking to find their place in the scheme of things. Okay, you can,
Upper left?
yeah, that's fine. And this is Sarah, who just turned 21. And, her and Jenny both have a job now. They're showing real estate and apartments and condos and that kind of thing. And also doing some of the office work. Okay, you can go, Kathy. And this is Catherine's high school graduation picture. And Kathy's doing really quite well in her field and seems to be very happy with it. She not only works in the hospital, but she also goes out on the transport, the helicopter or the airplane, to get preemie babies or anybody who is having a breathing problem, and they transport them back to St. Luke's Hospital. Okay. Good. And this is Jennifer. She graduated last year from high school and at one time wanted to be a model, but thank goodness I think she's changed her mind about that. And her and Sarah are both working at the same place and looking to find their place in the scheme of things. And Kathy has raised these girls pretty much on her own. And she bought an older home and is constantly improving on it and repairing and trying to make it better. And she seems to be very capable at doing that kind of thing too. Oh, and in the middle one.
Who did this one?
Oh, it's down.
Oh,
Well, you can go either end. And this is a picture of Wayne and Kathy. I thought it was kind of cute, so I threw it in there. And you can see Herman in the background to the right. This was taken out at our lake property. Of course, it was a few years ago while Herman was still with us. And, I like that picture, so I put it in there. This is another pose at Sarah's graduation picture. And this is another one of Jennifer, the one that thought she wanted to be a model. I'm sure she would make a good model, but I'm glad she's not going into it. Can you get that bottom one there? This is an old picture. This is Sarah on that side, little Jenny over here, and Timmy's Sonny in the middle. So you can see that it was a long time ago, but I thought I'd throw it in there. So I can't guess it's off.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's recording now. Yeah, it came on again, so carry on.
Okay, this was a reunion at Bunce's house. How many years ago was this
In
one?
1985.
1985, and look at all my handsome brothers, aren't they cute? With all their gorgeous hats on. There's Leonard on the end, Ted, Jean, Ted, Herman, Tony, and Bunce with the white hat. And where would you find a better group of guys than that? Okay, unless you guys want to say something there.
No. What's the sequence?
I guess we were going to go clockwise. Okay, this is one of my ambitious days when I was changing the storm windows for Mom. Up in the attic, up on the ladder.
Oh my gosh.
Must have been in the fall. And I kind of thought it was fun doing that. And I think it was good that I did something to help her out there. Okay. And here's these two sailor boys. Mort is over on the right-hand side, and Clifford Vick is on the other side. And these two guys just happened to get leave at the same time, and they both were going to give me an engagement ring. So I had to make up my mind which one I was going to take it from. So needless to say, I took it from Mort. Okay. And this picture is kind of a rarity in the fact that, as far as I know, this is the only picture of us 5 sisters together. And that's Connie on the left, me next to her, Jen in the back, Carmen in front of her, and Helen kneeling down with her little daughter, Mary. And how old were you there, Carmen? About 10?
Oh, no, you don't have the date on that picture.
No. But in the back you can see our old woodshed where we stored our coal and wood for the winter. We still had that kind of heating system and cooking system. And right behind us is a plum tree and a cherry tree, which we got a lot of food from. My mother did a lot of canning. I kind of like that picture. Okay. This is my husband Mort in later years. We thought he was pretty cool. Looks like a poinsettia in the back there. I don't know what that is hanging there. But he was an engineer on the railroad for 30 years and retired at 60. And he was 69 when he died of a sudden cardiac arrest. He was a great hunter and a great fisherman, and he liked his beer. And this is Mort and I with some of the taxidermy work that Wayne had done. He made this buck and doe deer head mounted for Mort for Christmas one year. And it hung in the bedroom wall for many years, but Wayne has it back again now. And there's these two sailor guys again. They were both good guys. I don't know who those little girls are back there. I don't recognize them. Some neighbor kids, I suppose, going by. Okay. And there's Clifford and Mort again. Get that one. Now this picture is taken out in the potato fields where in the fall I used to go out there and pick potatoes by the bushel. And at that time, so many of the men and boys were called up for service duty. So they wanted anybody that was willing to go out in the fields and help. So in the fall, I would stay out of school for 6 weeks and go and do this job. And then when I got back to school, I had to make up all this work. Well, I did a pretty good job of it, but I needed one more credit to graduate, so I had to go to school a half a day the next year. But I managed to get it done, and as you can see, you can go to that picture there, the one with the cap and gown.
You want to go down to there?
Yeah, it's under you guys. So this was our graduation day, and this girl, well, she was my best friend all through high school. So there's my proof that I made it through. Oh, you didn't get that top one, did you? I don't think, no, we started with you boys in the middle.
Oh, okay.
And this is one of my groups of line dancers. And after the flood, we couldn't go to the senior center to dance where we usually do, so they let us dance in the Southworks Plaza Mall. And as you can see, it was Christmas time. And, you see that we have one brave man in there. And he was a good dancer. But some of those people in that picture are not even with us anymore. But they were a good group, and I really enjoy line dancing.
What? The matter? Oh, it came on. I'm glad I didn't say a curse word into the...
Yeah, I wonder how many have you said today already?
Well, I think I've been pretty good in that line. What am I doing talking here?
Is it on?
It's on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. In my younger days, I was really active in sports and all kinds of activities, but in my older age, I decided to calm down a little bit, and from my grade school days on, I did black and white drawings, and I always wanted to do oil painting. So when I was in my 50s, I decided I'd give it a try. And so this is the results of my efforts, some of them anyway. And this is a painting that Father Sherman asked me to do. It's the spot where he was born or grew up. It's in Montana. And he has that painting in his lake cabin. Wherever that is, I don't know. And this is a painting I did in painting class. I was taking lessons at the park board at that time. And this was and this is just a scenic woods picture. I gave that one to Gail's daughter, Tony. And this one I had painted for Tom and his wife, Nikki. But when they broke up, I told them I wanted it back. Okay, that was an Indian girl. And this little painting I have hanging in my bedroom. Okay. And this one is it's hanging out at St. Mike's Park. It's between Lake Union and Sarah. They have quite a place out there. And they have a sort of a lodge, and another lady and I donated a painting to hang out there. And they screw them on the wall so nobody can steal them.
God, you gotta watch those churchgoers.
They can be the worst sometimes. And this lighthouse painting I gave to Marlene's son, Ron. He's the one that's in the Navy. So he has that in his house in Louisiana. And there's a little Kathy. She was 2 years old, I think, at that time. And this is a kind of a Christmas card type of picture. And this, I think this is the one I painted for Karen's daughter, Lindsay. She has that hanging in her bedroom. Oh, and this one I have hanging at home in one of the bedrooms.
Can I put that one in?
Sure, sure.
And put it in at the end.
Okay. And this little dog I gave to Derek, Elaine's son. And Kathy's daughter Jennifer has this little one. And Tom's daughter Becky has this little bird on the nest. And Kathy's daughter Jennifer has yeah, I think Jenny has that one. So I think Nicole has that other one with the duck in the cup, or mouse in the cup. Anyway. And this one is hanging at home in the bedroom. And this one I gave to Angela. And there's a couple of saw blades. The one on the left is the first saw blade that I did. So I'm kind of keeping it just because it's the first one. And the other one I probably gave to somebody. Don't seem to be. And this is the saw blade that I gave to Bunce a few years ago.
It's a scene that reminds me of some of those farm scenes along the Red River and on the Minnesota side. Is that it?
Yep, it's okay.
Okay, you're on.
Okay, this is Timothy Paul. He's my youngest son. He was born May 2nd, 1959. This was also Tony's birthday and little Gerald's birthday, one of our little brothers. And he has one daughter, Sunny, and Sunny has one daughter, Jacqueline. Jacqueline and Sunny live near San Diego, and she works for a landscaping firm, if you want to call it that. And Tim was in the Army for 4 years. Most of that time he was in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And then he recently worked for Jiffy Lube in Grand Forks for several years, but he has now gone out on his own. He's not sure exactly what he wants to do, but he's going to try it on his own. You can show that. Okay?
Okay.
And this is a picture of Tim and his daughter, Sunny. And she worked as a MT, is that what they are, Carmen? When she lived in Virginia, she worked on the ambulance. She went out on ambulance calls. And that's not what she's doing now, but she is qualified to do that. This is a more recent picture of Timmy. And, he's past his 40 mark. He has bought a little farm place out west of Grand Forks, and he is just in the process of improving and developing on that. It's only about 9 acres or something. And this is Sonny, his daughter, and his granddaughter, Jacqueline. Jacqueline now I think is 2 years old. And they now live in California. I think that's all. Okay, this is my 6 children again. And here's just a few comments I wanted to make before I finish up here. And I think I maybe said that in my 50s I started oil painting, things that I had done in later life, and I have gotten a lot of pleasure and satisfaction out of doing this. And also in my 60s, I was almost 70, 69, when I started line dancing, which I did maybe 5 days a week. But now it's down to 2 days a week, 2 classes. And at one time I was a hospital visitor and visitor of the sick and shut-ins, and also took communion to these people. And I did that I was a communion distributor for 7 years and a visitor for 12 years. And I found this very interesting and rewarding. And I still do volunteer work for the church and help with the lunches after funerals and some wedding receptions. Also, we put on a big rummage sale every year for the church. And there is a lot of work involved in that. And the women also clean the church 4 times a year. I try to keep busy and find enough to do so I don't get bored. I am about the stage right now where I'm thinking of something new to try. I have no idea what it might be, but I'm keeping an open mind on that subject. And the highlight of my life has been my children. I love every one of them dearly. My life would have been pretty empty without them. They have given me some anxious moments from time to time, but that goes with the territory. They have all been good to me, and I think I'll keep them all. I love you guys. And I love all my grandchildren and great-grandchildren too, who are numerous, so I won't mention all of them. I believe as of now, there are 16 grandchildren, 18 great-grandchildren, and I love all my brothers and sisters and their families too. All the kids growing up, as kids growing up, we didn't have much in the way of material things, but we had good parents, and they were good to us, and were hard-working people, and maybe without even knowing it, instilled instill these and other good qualities into their children. I will always be grateful to God for giving me the parents and family I was born into. To end my story, I ask God to keep you all in His care and ask you to forgive me for any of my shortcomings that may have caused you pain in any way. Signing off with love, Bernadette.